guys, welcome back to another week in the kitchen. This week we're taking the maiden voyage of the cast iron pot that I just restored. First recipe going to be cooked in, we're going to try to do an artisan bread. I have cooked it in the past, so this is going to be something I really haven't done in a couple decades, is actually baking bread. I mean, making biscuits, that's one thing, but actually baking a loaf of bread is something that I have not done in a while. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it does in the new cast iron pot. Let me get everything together and we'll be right back. Alright, so what we have here is 3 cups of all-purpose flour, which we're going to sift. A cup and a half of warm water. Some sugar. We'll be making, or using, I apologize, 1 tablespoon of sugar. About a teaspoon and a half of salt. A tablespoon of olive oil. And 2 teaspoons or a packet of active dry yeast. So first off, let's go ahead and sift the flour in there. I apologize if I look awkward. I am kind of awkward with my disability. Make sure I put it like that so I don't drop it. We'll put a little bit of flour in there. Well, let's go ahead and put it all in there. And then grab it with a good hand. Just kind of sift it in there. This will take me a little while. Let me go ahead and grab a spatula. Maybe I can sift it a little bit faster that way. No. Alright, I'll be right back. This is going to take me a while one-handed trying to sift the flour. So we'll be right back. Alright, now the flour is sifted. And you want to go ahead and add all of your dry ingredients. Do not add anything wet yet. Why do we sift the flour? It makes the bread a little bit softer. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. If I don't lose it on the way up. There we go. 1 tablespoon of sugar. We are going to do a teaspoon and a half of salt. And like I said, we're going to do 2 teaspoons or 1 packet of active dry yeast. 1 pack is about 2 1/4, which is enough. That's not really one of the things you really need to make sure of measurement. With baking, staying the closest to the measurement as possible is the best. You don't play measurements by ear too much because a lot of the ingredients needs to be pretty accurate. So go ahead and mix that in pretty well. Go ahead and mix that around some more. Now this is going to get pretty sticky. But you're not going to really get your fingers into it. You're just going to fold it. Because if you try to mix it real vigorously, it will make the bread a lot harder. The less you handle the dough, the better it becomes. Or the softer it stays, should I say. We'll go ahead and make a bowl in the center there. And the same goes for making biscuits. So I have hot tap water and I kind of touched it up for about a half a minute in the microwave. We'll go ahead and add that to the center there. And we'll go ahead and add the tablespoon of olive oil. And we start to mix. Like I said, you want to fold as much as you can. Don't stir. Once it becomes a dough, it's going to be nice and sticky, which is exactly what you want. So let me go ahead and mix this and I'll be right back. So you see we have a nice kind of a wet dough here. We'll go ahead and let that sit for 2 hours covered. Let it sit on the stove here. It's about the warmest and the less drafty spot here in the kitchen. Best to cover with a cloth just to let it breathe while it's rising. Make sure the cloth is dry. And we'll let this sit for 2 hours and rise, and we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so 2 hours is up. We'll go ahead and uncover this. As you see, it's risen. About doubled itself there. And put this off to the side and put down a good pinch of flour. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and transfer this out to the flour surface. Let me get my spatula. Now again, you gotta remember you don't want to overwork this. So we're not really going to need this. We're just going to fold it a couple times and cover it up while we let the oven preheat. I haven't started the oven yet. We need to go ahead and turn it on, get it going to 450. This dough is definitely very sticky. Trying to get it all out. Don't want to waste too much of this. Alright. Set this off the side. Go ahead and scoop that off. Okay. Like I said, it's very sticky dough. You want to go ahead and fold it over. You don't need to knead it. You fold it enough, it'll actually start coming off your fingers. That's just something, having to deal with this and not being able to help my other hand. Of course, it landed where there is no flour. I apologize, and this isn't working very well for me, only having one hand to be able to do this. Trying not to roll it on the surface that doesn't have flour. Like I said, you don't want to knead it, but like I said, you want to fold it as much as possible. There we go. Let me work on getting the dough off my fingers and try to get that into the actual dough ball. We'll be back in a little bit. So now that we got it folded enough here, we're going to try to transfer it to parchment paper. The best thing to do is just roll it. We'll go ahead and roll it onto there. And you're going to just want to cover it and let it sit for a little while everything's warming up. So we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so now the oven's warmed up. What I did halfway through is go ahead and put the pot in there with the lid and let it warm up to temperature with the oven. So what I'm going to do now is I take the dough. I will take a chef's knife, put a slit across the top. So when it rises, it'll actually make that split. Let me move the camera back a little bit. Get my hot glove. What we need to do now is go ahead and put the bread inside the pot, and we'll cover it up and let it go for a half hour. Just be careful when you do this. Move that back. We'll go ahead and take the parchment paper. See if I can get my hand to cooperate. Put that down at the bottom. Put my glove back on, put the lid back on, and get back in the oven. There we go. So what we do is we'll leave the lid on for a half hour, and then the last 10 to 15 minutes we'll take the lid off and let it brown up from there. So we'll be back in a bit. Alright, so as you noticed, I put a cast iron pot or pan, I apologize, upside down there to so when I pull my lid out, I can put it on something without burning the wood. Let me go ahead and grab my glove. thing should be a little difficult. Which the bread looks like it's in really good shape right now. So we'll give it another 10 minutes. Open here. Trying to get it in there. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, okay. Don't know why I'm having a difficult time. There we go. We'll let that go for another 10 minutes and crisp up. And we'll be back then. Alright, so timer done. This is officially the first loaf of bread that I've cooked in about 25 years almost. So let me go ahead and slide this out and see if I can get the loaf of bread out. Yeah. Put your handle wants to be in the way. Trying not to grab the handle. Yeah. We'll go ahead and put that lid back in there and just let this cool down with the oven. There we go. That's usually the best thing to do with cast iron. Just put it back in the oven and let it cool down with the oven. You go ahead and forget about it. So, we'll go and slide that off the parchment paper. There you go. Full loaf of artisan bread. Didn't exactly rise as I wanted it to, but still looks good. I'm gonna let it sit there for about 10 minutes or so to cool off before I cut into it. So as you see, the bread is done. You can hear the crispiness to it. So let's go ahead and give this a quick cut. See how it turns out. Sorry. Trying to get my hand in there and be able to hold this thing. So yeah, definitely a soft interior to that. Still got the crisp. So what I usually do is I'll serve it up with some olive oil with a mixture of smoked paprika and dehydrated onions, some oregano, and a little bit of salt. That's a good little dip for it. So, thanks for watching. Hope you liked what you saw. If you did, please leave that thumbs up. And until next time, y'all have a great week and a great weekend, and we'll see you again. Bon appetit.